Well, it feels really good to be back in the studio, guys. And of course, the first video back is Apple. I know my Android fans don't like it, but listen, when bills are due, the most clicked on videos are Apple. So we gotta kind of do that. But don't worry, there will be an Android dedicated video coming very soon. But anyway, let's talk iPhone 16 and more. So the first story, the main story of the day, the iPhone 16 lineup. Now again, we are still in the early stages. You know how this all plays out. I don't have to really go into detail on this, but because it is the main story, I do feel it's an obligation to give you guys a roundup of what we've been hearing so far. Because I will admit, it's been a couple weeks since I've been down here with all of the construction and stuff going on. So to briefly talk about the iPhone 16 rumors, it seems that Apple is of course still going to be doing very minimal refreshes, nothing really major in terms of the Pro and the Pro Max, but there are a few things we will talk about that might be considered big in regards to the iPhone 16 Pro line. But in regards to the 16 and 16 Plus, they are going to be getting a new redesigned camera system, which really is not a redesign. It is literally the same camera design that they did with the iPhone 10, the iPhone XS, and so on and so forth. But it is going to be supporting that vertical design because now they are going all in on the spatial video because they are trying to also build out the whole VR program, which, by the way, guys, if you aren't subscribed, I have the Apple Vision Pro. I did the unboxing, and of course, I've also made my first impressions video. I will be making more, of course, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more Vision Pro videos because they are coming. But anyway, back to the iPhone 16. The 16 and 16 Plus are going to be the same phone as the 15 this year. The biggest difference will be the camera technology, as it will support the spatial video. We have also heard reports that it is also going to be getting bigger battery, which of course is the same story we hear with the other iPhones. But ultimately, it is also going to be getting the action button. So it does look like Apple is going to adapt the action button to the 16 and 16 Plus. So it is nice to see them do that. But honestly, I want to know your thoughts. Do you really use the action button, or do you still keep it as the silent switch? Because I really don't find myself using it as an action button. But again, everybody's different. Now, when we take a look at the 16 Pro and Pro Max, that is where we get a lot of our differences. And the biggest change that we are getting is a brand new action button, sort of. Now, again, it is also going to be sporting a very similar design that we're seeing with the 16 and 16 Plus, reportedly. We don't know that to be true yet, but we'll find out as the rumors get closer. But we have been hearing reports that Apple is indeed going to be adding a new button to the iPhone, and it is called the capture button. Now, the reason why they're going to be using a capture button is they're going to be taking advantage, again, of the camera technology with the telephoto optical lens, the new system that they have, and also a dedicated button to be very similar to using your action style, like the action button. And also, they are going to be doing more with this button as well. So it is making the iPhone a little bit more versatile. I've actually never seen Apple really do this with iPhones, because you would think that they would be moving in an adoption to remove buttons altogether. But there are still reports that are saying that it is going to remove physical buttons in favor of the pressure buttons like they did with Touch ID. We're also hearing reports that it will add a 2 terabyte option, which is incredible to think about. Why would you need 2 terabytes? But again, people do a lot with the iPhones. And of course, the last thing to round off all the rumors, it is of course also going to get bigger battery. So that's everything you need to know with the iPhone 16 lineup. Again, I will update you guys in the comments, so subscribe and turn on your notifications when the next video drops, because you never know, an update will be brewing. Alrighty, the next story is a HomePod related story. Now, in tvOS 17.4, there is reportedly a hint at a brand new product under the HomePod lineup that is using the tvOS software as the base, so that way the software can be used to update the HomePods. But apparently this new device is using an A15 chip inside, and is reportedly also a device with a 2314 identifier, and is reportedly being internally tested by Apple, and is reportedly claiming to be a future HomePod with a display. Based on the findings, and according to several reports, it does say that it uses an A15 Bionic chip, which is the same chip in the iPhone Mini 6, iPad Mini 6, iPhone Mini. Oh God, that phone is, I miss that phone. But anyway, the internal development and the production version of the product under the test is reportedly suggesting that there are advanced stages of development. So we don't really know much, but it is being hinted at in the codes. So it could be possible that Apple is finally going to give us a new version of the HomePod to expand their HomePod lineup, to give us a physical media. It could be similar to what Amazon did with the Echo Show. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm interested in this product because a lot of people don't really talk about the HomePod lineup. I love the HomePods. I think the potential is there. I like the newer ones. They are much better. But again, we will wait and see what happens. So again, subscribe. Updates usually come, and if you subscribe, you are locked in. And the last story, the final story of the day, let's talk about the iMessage debacle with Apple and the EU. Now, there wasn't a comparing lawsuit that Apple was suing the EU in an attempt to block the EU from opening iMessage to everyone. Apple wanted to keep this feature inclusive to Apple's ecosystem, and by the EU trying to open it up, open the garden, it would give access to everyone, which while on paper does sound very well, but I think that that's a very selfish thing in my opinion, because iMessage is an Apple service and they should have the right to open it to anyone that they want, not be told what to do. I am on a very big stance, and again, I understand there are some decisions that I support, there are some decisions that I agree with, and then there are some that I don't agree with. And I don't agree with the EU trying to control Apple and make them do things. While I understand it's in the benefit of the consumer, it feels like it's being overstretched. Well, apparently, the Apple has won big time. According to a new report from Bloomberg, it says here that according to the new filings, the EU has now been quoted as being avoided in this issue. The probe includes that iMessage platform and Microsoft's Bing do not hold a dominant marketplace and hold enough position to be brought under the DMA's strict rules, like big techs as called gatekeepers. And according to the lawsuit, it shows that Apple will not be forced to open it up in the long run. They can do whatever they want to do with it, and it's still their product and service. And I think that that is exactly what it should have been. I don't understand the EU's reasoning of trying to get Apple to do all this. They've already got sideloading, they've got USB-C on the iPhone, and just trying to continue to chip away at Apple is just very unreasonable to me. I understand there are certain things that I do agree with, but then when you get things like this, I feel it is totally disagreeable. Now, would it be nice for Apple to open iMessage to everyone? Absolutely. Would it be nice to have more flexibility on the App Store? Absolutely. But again, this is Apple's products. These are their walls. This is their App Store. This is their software. They should have the right to do what they want, with very few exceptions. And I think the EU stepping in for USB-C was one of those where I'm like, you know what? I don't like that the government is saying something, but this is one that I'm totally for because we've seen a big demand change with Apple ever since the USB-C adoption. So I'm all fine with things like that, but when you do things like this, that's where I feel like they're overstepping their boundary. And now that Apple has won this, it is a step where the EU can take a step back, and hopefully they will step back, but I think this is only the beginning of the EU trying to really get Apple to tear the barriers down. And that's it for today's episode of Technoid. Now guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, you can hit the dislike button. That helps circulate my videos as well. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Take care, stay safe, have a good day, and peace!